Been in this fight since I was 6. Then I met a hot chick named Bix, but I'm a rebel, little tiny rebel. Ever feel like you're gonna die, hugging a stranger next to a blind guy on a beach somewhere? Would you even care? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under the ferric sky? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under our ferric sky? First met Bix and I kissed her. Forgot about the quest to find my sister for like 10 years. Now she's turning tricks, hanging out with the space grandpa. Mothma's freshly single and she's looking good. What was I doing again? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under the ferric sky? Oh, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under our ferric sky? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under the ferric?
MakingStarWars.net.
Everyone, I'm Jason Moore from MakingStarWars.net, and I just watched the Ahsoka Part 1, Part 2, and I'm waiting for Rob right now. He should be here pretty soon. We kind of got I was supposed to come on later, and we got it all worked out, so we're doing it at 9, basically. Khonshu says 5 out of 10. I'm sad, but there are only 6 episodes to go, so I'll keep an open mind. Yeah, so like I'll just give my like general kind of impressions of the first 2-parter Ahsoka episode. Was that I found it both intriguing and a little bit boring at the same time. Is it boring because I wasn't in the mood? That's possible. I had a long day, so that might have a little bit to do with it. But I also feel like there were moments that exemplify why that longer runtime on an episode doesn't equate to quality. You know, we just had a rant about this recently. I mean, didn't it feel like we watched somebody like solving a Rubik's Cube on camera for about a minute? It's like, we get it. You flip some things and a light comes on. But we're like, oh, how does this work? I don't know. I got to figure it out. Maybe I could go to GameFAQs and figure it out. And it's like, no, just get on with it. So there's a little bit, I would say, pacing issues with the show. It's not like living in the moment. It's kind of just staying there sometimes. And it's like, I'm checking my watch a lot on some of it. But past that, the actual like content itself is intriguing. And you know, it might be worth it in the end. There might be more to it that makes it all worth it. But like I said, I needed that thing a little bit faster, a little bit more intense, I would say. But I did generally enjoy it though. Something I've heard just over and over again for the last week was it's Rebels 2, guys. And I'm like, and that to me was a big turnoff when they were saying that. Not because I don't like Rebels, because I don't think that you need to execute Disney XD on Disney Plus. There were stylistic changes, tonal changes, slapstick, there's all kinds of things that didn't work. And it's like, point being, I don't agree. Just because you can draw, I saw this character in Rebels, that means it's this. I don't think it feels like Rebels at all. I don't mean that as a slight. I don't mean that as an endorsement for the show either. I just don't think it does. It's a lot more. It's slower. It's a little bit more like subtle. It's a little more brooding. And Ahsoka Tano is really dry in the opening. There was no moment. I mean, her giving up, we just said that moment kind of thing. That just happened, kind of moment. That doesn't really endear the character to me. I mean, and let me backtrack again on where my brain is at on this whole Ahsoka thing. Like when Ahsoka Tano first comes out in the Clone Wars 2008 film, you see it and you're like, this is good, but it's not great. It has problems. But you're like, if you're me anyways, you're like, I could see the potential here. I can see where this goes. Then the series comes out, series is great. And you're like, all right, cool. Like it's better. She's living up to it, right? And then after that, we kind of get into a place where like, oh, they're going to take Ahsoka away from us. Disney's bought Lucasfilm, but then they bring Ahsoka back and she's in Rebels. And then they bring Ahsoka back and she's in the Clone Wars again. And then they bring Ahsoka back and she has her own kind of like origin story, half of a show. And then we have this. So like at this point, Ahsoka Tano just walking on frame doesn't make me slow clap, It's she's all over the place. She's I'm not saying she doesn't deserve her show. In fact, I would say it's kind of a crime that it took until 2023 until we started to almost 2024 before she got her own series on Disney Plus. So that part alone is like ridiculous. But point being, just because we like her in something else doesn't mean we have to like her here. Just because she was good in those other things actually doesn't mean she's good here. And but I'm not saying she's bad, but I watched 2 episodes and there was no moment. There was no moment that made Ahsoka like, come together. There was no moment that made me go like, there it is. And so once again, it might be there next week. I don't know. So I'm not calling it. I'm not saying it's great or it's trash or anything like that. Just watched 2 episodes though, and I was like, yeah, Ahsoka is kind of a jerk. It's kind of what I felt. Also on a side note, Sabine totally killed that cat. She just closed the door and left. And that cat starved to death. It died. It definitely, the lost cat definitely did not make it, just so you know. Yeah, Mike Porter says, I give both episodes a 6.5 because it's boring in places. Yeah, it definitely has like big pacing issues. Sam says, happy birthday, Jason. It's my birthday too. Hey, all right, Sam. Nice. Yeah, happy birthday, dude. Yeah, and I can't complain. I'm a 2 episodes of a new Star Wars show for my birthday. I'll take it. That's a good birthday. But happy birthday, Sam. And thanks, James. James gave me a $10 super chat. It says, this just goes to show that length isn't as important as girth. Yeah, exactly. Like it definitely could have been, when you get down to it, about, I'm going to say 20% faster. The music is super good. Yeah, Kiner always delivered, but he really did. This music was actually really good. In fact, if it wasn't for the music, I think this show would really, the pacing would be very off. So all of that together, I'm down for it. I thought the music was really, really good. And which is like also a given. And the fights were also really good too. The lightsaber fights, and I'm of a mixed mind on the whole lightsaber fight thing. Like on one hand, I'm like good, they were good, but I also feel like the films laid out exactly what this is supposed to be like, how it's done, and then they took shortcuts in other places. And so I don't really feel like slow clapping competency at a basic level on the show either. Does that make sense? Is that too hard? Let me know if that's too hard. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I do feel like what we got on the show should be like the bare minimum on a Jedi based show. So I'm not knocking it. It's definitely a thing. Thank you for the super chat, Concha. Balin Shin and Score stole the show. Yeah, I agree. The Balin stuff was definitely pretty rad. It was good. And I'm not just one of those guys that's like, once the evil lightsabers pop up, I'm like, all right, now it's my show. I'm not that guy like that, but he brought a level of like sophistication to the part. So it was nice not to give a little shout out to him at the end, of the episode too. But Balin and Shin definitely really fun. I'm they lived up to the hype, is what I would say. And Rob, are you ready? I don't know if I'm being a jerk by putting Rob in, but hi, Rob.
Am I gonna ruin the show, Jason?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. No,
You're all
what
afraid.
that?
Just tell me it's good. I
Whoa,
can't take
no.
it if you don't like it.
No, you can not like it, or you could like it. I mean, yeah. What did you think? I just kind of just randomly shot
Look,
out my
man, it was
thoughts.
good. I think it was good. I watched 2 episodes. I'm just gonna give you the quick thoughts and we get all the details, but overall, that was really good. I think had this show come out after Mando's season 2, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the fucking Star Wars is dead talk wouldn't have happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the show probably should have been called Master and Apprentice. I don't think it's an Ahsoka show. She's not the POV. There's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a lot of duality with the Master and Apprentice themes across multiple threads, right? Past, present, possibly even future. And so I just
Yeah.
think that should have been the name of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the one thing that I'll say, like, it gets right is it gets its sound design down, not just the music, but the sound design. Like, I think like really it's been a complaint of mine aside from Andor that most of these Star Wars shows just like even like little stuff when Ahsoka's like on the balcony and you can hear the wind, right? Like this is stuff that I was saying
Yeah.
on Kenobi. Like this, look, it makes a difference when you see the blowing, like the little cat fur blows, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have to do it, but that just sells stuff, and it's like those little details are all there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it was super fun, dude. Super fun. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say it rocked my world, but I'm like, this is dope. This is cool. I can say it's cool, right? Like, no problem.
Yeah. Well, that's where like I was. It was weird because it was like really intriguing, and I felt like we're starting to get somewhere. We're doing this,
I know that it cut it off.
and then it would get boring.
I
You
actually thought it
know?
would have played better if we had just gotten the one episode. I thought the first episode felt pretty complete, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then like the second one, I'm like, almost like 2 and 3 maybe should have been more connected. It's not, I mean, it's still a TV show, dude. Like, let's not make any mistake. But
Yeah.
look, this
But
proves that you can
it was
put.
consistent though, right? When you say it was consistent, like it looks like the same show from shot to shot.
Yeah, it's totally consistent.
That's
Yeah,
that's important to
yeah,
me. You know,
yeah.
I could deal with old Doctor Who as long as it looks like old Doctor Who the whole time. You know what I mean? Like whatever it happens to be. And
Well, it has the look of like, what I had hoped Kenobi would have in terms of the prequel look evolving to modern tech, but with the budget of, say, A New Hope. You know what I mean? Like the
yeah.
scale of it. It's not trying to like go beyond its scale. It's using the budget to sell the world. You know what I mean? Which is
Mm-hmm.
at this point, you look, we're past Mando's proven. We're sort of past. Hey, look, there's a rocky planet. We're walking around with droids. Like okay, man, you can't do that for 8 episodes, and call it
Yeah.
Star Wars at this point,
Right.
like,
Um,
so yeah.
can be embarrassingly petty, Maria, and say I told you so about her being a Sith wit, or I mean a Night Sister? I did tell you. She was one that did pan out for what it's worth. But Maria says, why can't Disney Lucasfilm ever name their shows appropriately? And then she goes on to talk about the other shows, and being called Kenobi and it's like half Reva and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, Rob, that's what Rob was, I think, hinting at a minute ago. It's like all of these shows are named after like trying to build characters into their own franchises. It's like I feel like it's like the submission. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
no, just fucking
down...
name stuff something cool and then like let it go from there, because Star Wars has never done that. Like that's like a Disney thing. There was never like, oh, this story is called Luke Skywalker. Yeah, it's a fucking Marvel thing. Yeah,
I really don't like it. I would not have when Lucas retitled Star Wars into A New Hope, it'd be, if we called it Luke Skywalker, it'd be fucking dumb. And that is about Luke Skywalker. Like, it would still be dumb. Episode 4, Luke Skywalker. Like, really? Are we doing this? Like, why?
Maria says, yeah, but she didn't act like one. It's a Night Sister without all the Night Sister magic. Made no sense. Like I was saying before, she's going to be resurrecting stormtroopers and stuff like that. It's going to go there. We're just not there yet. That's a bit of where I'm coming at. The parts I was calling boring, the moments where I just feel like this is dragging right now, like really bad. And it might be a slow burn. It might pick up from what we know where it's going and what's going to happen. I think it's likely that that's the case.
To be fair, I'm not like cringing at the slow pacing doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If I'm not like, oh shit, this fucking person's talking again. Like no offense, I don't think I think the acting on the good guys is probably the weakest part of the series. If I was to critique any of the personality, like it feels like you're trying to get that George Lucas stoic thing across, and it's like that I would not do that. It plays better when she's trying to be Maverick, and Sabine is, like, actually that plays more. I'm not saying it's Star Wars, but it plays more to who the character is than. I don't know who Ahsoka is as a person. You could tell me she did all these things as a person. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
if I was a person who never watched any of this stuff, right? And you just looked at it, you go, "Well, she's a Jedi, a fighter," like that. That's not, it feels. I'm not going to bring up the red letter media thing, but when they did bring up the name someone beyond their profession test, right? It is a good exercise to have.
Yeah.
We know who Andor is without his profession. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yes. Yeah. Mumbo Jimbo gave a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, dude. And his channel member. Also, double thank you. Love the nuance to Balin and Shin. Not just blind-minded Empire Sith followers. Happy birthday, Jason. Hello, Rob. I'm optimistic for the rest of the series. And like I am too. Like, after the first 2 episodes here, I still don't know if it's going to be a horrible show or a great show, which is fine.
It's not going to be a horrible show. I can already tell you.
Yeah, I don't think it will be either.
It's not going to be a horror. Is it going to be the show that gets the person off the street to go, "Damn, Star Wars is back"? No. Would they say, "Oh, that was cool"? Yeah. If you can get them to watch it. Like, there's a little bit of a stigma right now, and that's not this show's fault. That's Kenobi, Boba Fett, Mando. You know what I mean? That's a bigger problem they got to get over. But this helps.
Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, well, like my kid, I lost a kid on this one already.
Fell asleep.
He said it was boring and just got up and walked away. I was like, okay.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Jason, you didn't like Empire Strikes Back because you thought it was boring, so
no, as a kid I liked it. It was boring now. You know what I mean?
You should teach him some patience. Too much Fortnite. Too much Fortnite, Jason.
I was laughing because in Star Wars, the medical like outfit that she wears is like a nurse's outfit here. Like
we're getting all the nurse's outfit info now, right?
No. But did you notice that?
Yeah,
was
I
like, it
did
doesn't make
notice it was.
sense. It was like kind of backwards. Maria says, "Happy birthday, Jason. Do tell us what you did besides waiting for the premiere to drop." Oh, I went to school. I was in class, and then I got out early. Like we were supposed to wait and do the show late tonight, but thankfully I didn't have to stay the whole time, so I was able to get out. So, anyways, yeah, and then Captain Nerds says apparently episode 5 is only 35 minutes. Yeah, it's probably more like 30 minutes when you get down to the fact that it has credits on that time too. So, but
But
once
I'll say
again,
this though, this is not
yeah,
so much a knock at Filoni, but it's just an observation I've had in general with modern Star Wars, and to some extent recently the Marvel stuff. Like, okay, the whole sequence in the second episode when Ahsoka's fighting on the ground and Syndulla's up in the air, it doesn't really crescendo into much. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like there
yeah,
that's what sequence driven storytelling is not. We created a sequence in the story. It's
mm-hmm,
that there's a delivery at the end, in the
yeah,
way that there is a delivery. And people have complained about the inflatable raft sequence in Temple of Doom, but it does have an end. You know,
mm-hmm,
from the opening airplane to the fall to the whole bit into the water raft at the end, like it it, it beginning, middle, end. This sort of just sort of stops. And then, hey,
yeah,
we'll tell you when we're good to go, you know, when we're gonna pick this thread up again. You're like, all right.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
Um, Before I said, Ben Maynard sent a super chat, said, "Happy birthday, buddy. I hope you have a good one." Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I will have a good one. Thanks, dude. I appreciate the support, man. And you're a good pal. No, something I was like really afraid of was that this was going to just be, and like we talked on the phone when we were both driving home, hands free. We got those fancy space cars, and I was just like, I'm afraid that the show is just going to be Filoni didn't grow at all. He did better establishing shots, and then it's just his cartoons and live action. And there's a little bit of times when it does feel a little bit like that, but for the most part, it doesn't actually feel like his animated work, which is good. That is exciting to me. But like I said, I'm still, the pacing is worries me a little bit on this one, a little bit. Yeah,
Well,
Andor
there
is a
is
masterpiece.
there is
Yeah.
an the
Mhm.
inherent key like thematic problem for me is let's say look, they're not trying to market to you rebels kids, okay? They're marketing to people who, the rest of the world. So the rest of the world, I assume, has mostly seen The Force Awakens if you just do the numbers, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So a whole series based around a star map. We kind of had a whole movie about that once, right? like, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're doing another map movie thing, man. Like with this, it's better. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's better than the one in The Force Awakens. At the end of the day, like it's more interesting
Well,
than, hey,
yeah.
Archer's been asleep the whole time. Has the map? Like, fucking really? Like,
Well,
so,
Besman pointed out to me that it's literally the map from Treasure Planet. It is. It's like the map.
right. Yeah, Treasure
Exactly.
Planet.
Down to the little circle thing and everything. Like it really is. And but the Sabine intro, um everyone said it was like pretty awful when they were after they saw it. When I talked to them, I tweeted it out. I didn't think it was that awful. I thought it was fine. I thought it was like kind of fun. The only part that was a little bit cringy to me was like when she gives the "that just happened" face
Well,
again.
there's no
Like,
sequence. There's no sequence to, again, it's just, look, they're trying to do the Maverick thing, but there was a point to the way that was done back in the original Top Gun.
mhm.
So not showing up for a ceremony and then we got to bring you in and then we're just gonna, like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's not, this is a more compelling thing to do there. What is this? Is this person who breaks the rules or doesn't? Does she have to follow the rules? Does she go into, does she get 2 weeks? Is she in the military? Like, none of that stuff's really clear. Like,
No, when I mean I kind of don't care, but I kind of thought she was an
right.
asshole for like letting them throw like a banquet for her and then the planet and then just not going because she just fucking needed to listen to some sweet jams and drive down the street.
Right.
It was kind of weird, right? It was like a visual idea that inspired a story, but then didn't get filled in correctly.
Well, the technical execution is well done. The visual effects, the sound, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it's just you're just like, what's the point to this again? Like, what are we saying about this person? Shirks responsibilities, right? Like, that's just not fully. It's not, it's not fully explained. But then again, I just compare it to shit I watch in the prequels. And I'm like, I'll take this over, Anakin riding a giant flea. Like
how about if Flea in that Princess Leia?
I know. I thought there was only gonna be one giant flea.
I mean,
in a Star Wars thing, and then right, or flea running, not the back of Knott's Berry Farm or San Bernardino, right? Like chasing. I
know. Thank you for the super chat, Conchu. Conchu66 says the whole Sabine Padawan thing is a hard sell for me for so many reasons. Force sensitive or not, I'm not feeling it. Let her be the kick-ass character like in Rebels, not a 30-year-old brat. Happy birthday. Thank you, Conchu, and I appreciate the support as always. I like some of the base covering they did with Hyung being like, oh yeah, you're like the worst Jedi I've ever seen. Like literally, if there could be a shittier Jedi, it would be you again. Like that's kind of like what he says to her. And so I was like, okay.
I think the way to end that would have been, he didn't end it well. Like at the end, he should have been, but seeing as how all the good Jedi are dead,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
What we got.
You're all we got. Yeah, you know
that
what I mean?
That was what he was implying, but and that's where you thought it was gonna go, and then it kind of did. But yeah, but I mean, it's fine. Like it, or I should say, it was covered well where they were taking it, but it is a little bit of a like Star Wars Rebels clearly wasn't actually going this way, and then it just feels like it was just like another like an idea, that an afterthought idea. It doesn't feel like it's in step with what came before, but I'm okay with it. Like I'm okay with this is the story that they want to tell here. I'm fine with that kind of thing, in the end. Like it's cool, but
look, I mean, it has a little bit of that when I watch kids build lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And they're doing the ceremony, and you're like, oh, well, it's a Disney theme park experience. This is some corny, stupid shit, man. It's got a little bit of that, but not enough, I think. Look, I don't watch Rebels and Clone Wars, so like, I'm like, should this be a Padawan or not? I'm not getting in that conversation because I don't care. The show's selling me
Rob,
on that there are masters and apprentices here, right? And it's like that's the interesting overall theme, I think, especially for some reason the heroes are dicks and the villains are interesting, like for whatever reason that like Ray Stevenson is just far more likable, and it's a shame they got Clancy Brown to act in person because he would have been a good replacement for Balon, I think, like given Ray's passing. I thought he was excellent. Like in that scene, he's out acting everyone on camera.
I mean, if there was one guy I can think of who is cooler than Balin, it's the Kurgan. So
yeah, like he's still got it, dude.
Yeah,
he's super good, man.
Yeah, and he played that character in Rebels. Like that's him actually playing his character. Yeah, he was Savage Opress in the Clone Wars, Darth Maul's brother. Then in this one, he plays the rebel leader from the planet. Basically, it's a big deal in the show. So, and then the little boy or the young guy who he says cover for Sabine that he pushes out there. That's a character from an important episode of Rebels. His name is Jai, and they're like cadets. And Ezra's in there to steal a decoder, I think. And then they decided to like destroy the base. This other kid who's a cadet in the Empire too is like, yeah, I'm down to help you, basically, and ends up helping him. And that's who that kid was. So there was like two like little cameos, like pretty close together, two big ones from that show right there. But it kind of just was, I don't know. It was just set up to like make Ahsoka Sabine act detached, which is yeah, it's sort of a weird idea in that setting, because like if she had like post-war stress kind of stuff, like she would not be hanging out like at the brunch. You know what I mean? In the planet with the brunch. She would be like a homeless warrior or something, kind of like what Ahsoka kind of is. So I don't know. I mean, but I feel like I'm being way more down on the show than I actually am. Just that it like, those, I think there was like a lot of intrigue to it, and I was intrigued through most of it. This is going to be a hypocritical thing for me to say, but I feel like we saw all of this in the TV spots.
Well, that's what I
Like,
told you. I told you all the TV spots are going to be from the first 2 episodes. Like,
mhm,
because we'd already been watching them for almost 6 months. I'm like, we're seeing the same. This is from like the first 2 episodes. Everything you're seeing. That could
yeah,
just be because of production. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? That's just a problem with, hey, guess what visual effects sequences are done first? The ones we gotta, release first, So
yeah,
I'm not too picky. I thought the visual effects looked better in the final form than they did. There's some shots and lighting we've seen in previous trailers. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks way better now
mhm,
than it did. And
yeah,
the movements of the robots, I thought, combined with the audio design was cool. It
mhm,
wasn't cringe. Like when I watched him in Inquisitors and Kenobi, I'm like, this is some stupid shit, man. Like, and
mhm,
I never got that feeling here. Just there are just logistic issues. Like, well, if they could self-destruct with thermonuclear weapons, why didn't they just blow her up to begin with and fuck the map? Like,
yeah.
like
Well,
stuff like that. Like,
I did feel like they got you a little on that sequence though. So when we were talking about it, you're like, why don't they just blow up and kill her? But what they do is they do go there and they're like, give us the thing. She's like, no, and then they're like, we're okay, but then they blow up. So
right.
I think that might be because of the gentlemanly nature of the of Balin. Maybe that's, you know what I mean. If you want to give it like because he even says later on, like, it's a shame we have to kill her, and then
Yeah,
so
I think that would have played better in the first episode, that line.
mhm,
You know,
yeah,
like would have been a way to set it up. Like, you like them, but different sides, right?
yeah.
Not inherently evil. Like, but yeah, no, I mean, look, Ray Stevenson. God damn, why do we lose the good ones, man?
Wait, what do
You
you
know what I
mean?
mean?
That kid has a bright future. What are you talking about?
That's why they said for our friend Rand. Yeah,
Oh,
I like how Filoni couldn't help himself but use Art Deco. You know what I mean? Like when I saw the Art Deco font, I was like, of course.
he almost used Comic Sans, so just be happy he went there. Um,
Hey, it's good
oh
to tighten
yeah,
them.
that opening crawl, or no, not an opening crawl, but the opening text, it kind of like reminded me of Willow. It was like Willow and Highlander. It kind of had both of those. It was a little bit more Highlander, I think, in vibe, but it
Yeah, I
was
mean, it
interesting.
feels like something that was added after the fact, only in that the sequence we see next does everything and they say everything it says.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, okay, like show me. I like using the crawl to get caught up to where they're at, not
Mhm.
so much explain to me the first 15 minutes of the movie, like
Yeah.
that we'll then see play out, and like that's not exactly the deal. The color red's an interesting choice given that she's using white and gold.
Mhm.
Like I'm like, why not just make it white, or like an off white with like a chromatic aberration or
He's
something.
always done that. Even like his
Yeah.
Kurosawa episode that says for Akira Kurosawa at the start, I believe it's red like that too. Yeah, it's something that
I know,
Filoni
but
just
I'm
like
talking about visual consistency in the show.
right.
I don't really care,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think it's there's red that's gonna be popping up throughout the rest of the series, like down to like the red leaves we had in the stuff, and later on, I think
even
it.
that gold would, or the not gold, but the green Night Sister color, the fire or whatever,
Mhm.
would have been an interesting.
Night magic. I don't know if it's called that, but we could call it that. Skywalker's Academy. Thank you for the super chat, bud. Says, "Hey, Jason, happy birthday. Have your cake and eat it too. Sabine is a hard-headed Mandalorian. They're set in their ways. This is the way." So Yeah, I mean that was what I'm still like a little bit confused by the relationship. Like I'm gonna watch it again, obviously, and when I do, you know, I'll probably like have a better read on this. But was, like who was the is Ahsoka the asshole? Because it sounded like Ahsoka got spooked being in the role and then left. But then we have like that line, I left Anakin and just like I left Sabine. Like we have that too.
It's
So
loosey
that
goosey stuff. It's that not committing to saying what
it's
really happened.
non-committal.
I
Do
don't
you
I don't
want to
like that
date me or not,
JJ.
Filoni? Do you want to date me,
Yeah.
Filoni? Do
It's
you?
that
Are you
JJ. Well,
looking?
we did, but we didn't. Remember when we did, but I didn't, and you said the thing, but I didn't, and you, yeah. All right. The
Hold
only
on.
time,
Let's get in. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
yeah, the only time I've ever seen that work really well in a film was in
Oh, show, lady.
Ocean's 11. Yeah, Jason, I was saying the only time I ever saw that work well in a film was Ocean's 11, when Elliot Gould said, "I'll never forget that time you did the thing in the place with the thing,"
Mhm.
and I'll always remember it. And you're like, yeah, like that. He sold that. Like I don't need to know
Yeah.
any of that stuff, but that, like that. It's just like people. I just think like it's weird because I'm assuming the fans who grew up with the show and Rebels want to have questions answered, and it's not answering things. It's trying to create more of a mystery about something that I feel probably shouldn't be a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like trying to act mystique where there is none.
Right.
So yeah.
No, it definitely it definitely does that, if it has a reason and it pays off, cool. But if it doesn't, and it is just a little bit of it's just annoying, kind of at that point, because like there's a lot of if she was the Padawan, which is what was the case, and at the end she is again. Like it's really kind of weird why they broke up as a team, and then why she even lets her be the Padawan again at the end, like because coincidentally
Because she got
she Jar Jar Binksed it at the end.
no,
She
because
just
she got a
improvised.
lightsaber hickey. Once you get a lightsaber hickey,
Oh
you're in the club. That's a
yeah,
Filoni thing. Yeah. I mean,
that's
she had when her little repair on her tummy showed up, and I'm like, looks like a hickey. Oh, Filoni.
yeah. He's all I'm gonna put it in myself with my mouth. What? You can't do that, Filoni. HR won't let you. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm in a weird place with the show in the sense that I'm like, it's kind of better than I thought it was going to be. Please don't chomp plastic on the microphone. What are you doing? Um, it's better in some ways than I thought it would be, but I also like don't really know what to expect from the like next episodes. I know some of the stuff that happens obviously like in the show, and I'm like, how the hell do we get there? So I'm kind of like, so I think it's gonna probably pick up. That next episode is short, like we were saying, which probably means there's a ton of action in it. Like when you get down to it, probably what it means is that a bunch of cuts and a bunch of fast paced stuff.
It's just
Penny,
weird to me with lightsaber
let's do that,
fights,
baby.
because in the same episode, when they pull out their lightsabers, like they're cutting droid heads off instantly, they're cutting droid limbs off instantly. But when a human gets stuck, they get stuck straight on, and no one ever decides to pull the lightsaber out left or right. Like,
Yeah,
like when you stab something. I'm not saying I know exactly from experience, but I've done a little bayonet training. You jab, and then you instantly want to just cut left or right. They got to teach you not to. So it's just they do it
right.
in the show when they're not fighting humans. It's like,
Oh,
you know,
Raptors and Maria have a misunderstanding. So Raptor says, Maria, the difference is that Sabine got immediate medical attention. People like Qui-Gon did not, as he lasted a few minutes. Reva is just bad. No, see, you're actually wrong. How much a lightsaber hurts you has a lot to do with how hot you are. If you're super hot, then the heat of the lightsaber doesn't even hurt you on the inside that much, just a little bit. So Liam Neeson or Bordizzo. Oh, Bordizzo is a lot hotter than Liam Neeson, therefore he died faster. That makes sense, right? Rob? No? Okay. But
look, man, I know what I mean. Like I know now when I'm in realistic Star Wars or I'm in action figure Star Wars.
Yeah.
You should too. You know, this is action figure Star Wars.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and defend the prequels and then be like, this is none of it. Look, none of it's cartoonish. That's Andor's different. Rogue One
Yeah.
leans
Dramatic
more
conceit. I
realistic,
mean,
but it has
at
some,
the end of the day. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some people are going to play it. Gilroy is going to play it much different than Filoni.
right.
And all that matters at
But
the end of the day is that it's consistent within the show
this
in
is
which.
far better than Mando season 3 or Kenobi or Boba. Like,
Oh yeah, this is night and
can we
day.
all just come on, man? Like
And
it's
even
like,
with the like I was telling you, I
yeah.
don't remember if I said this on the show or not, but when Ahsoka was filming with Mando 3 and Skeleton Crew, they were like everybody wanted to be on Ahsoka because everyone was like Ahsoka's the fucking good one. Like the show's good, the people are good, everybody's, you know what I mean? Like it's the place to be. And then so it doesn't mean that Skeleton Crew's bad, by the way. It just means that they thought they were assholes. A lot of people who were there were assholes. So, but it's like, yeah. So this was the one where people wanted to be, and but
I'll tell you
I
something
think
else
the
I
work
noticed,
looks
Jason.
good though. Like if Star Wars shows filmed in El Segundo, Manhattan Beach look like this across the board this whole time, I would be livid that people complained about any of it. The visual effects stuff. Like for Star
Or
Wars
if the
TV,
writing was
I
at
think
this.
that's
This is what I call the bare minimum for baseline. And I'm not saying that because it's bad and it's the low. I'm just saying this is.
yeah.
I expect no less than this in the writing of Star Wars. I'm just telling you right now. Like,
Yeah.
To me, Rise of Skywalker is far below this, like in terms of its writing and whatnot. So, but I would say that the pacing of it, we've talked many times, Jason, about how like Heir to the Empire would not make a good movie. It's structured like a book. This feels a lot like Heir to the Empire in its pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really does. Like these
Oh,
sequences that
the
aren't
way
full.
the way it kind of broods.
Yeah. The way it kind
Yeah.
of broods. It's very similar actually, and so
Yeah.
not a bad thing. I mean, like it just kind of proves that that's more of a series in its structure than a movie, which
Right.
we've always known, but not, look,
Yeah.
the only thing that I'm still like, well, this could get totally stupid is when Thrawn shows up, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm like, okay, buddy, like we'll see how that gets handled. But
Yeah.
I don't think as a whole though, this it's not like Ray Stevenson died 2 episodes in,
Mhm.
so we're not losing anybody. So it's like you got likable villains, and you got
Yeah.
some likable heroes. I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's more likable, I think, than the other two on some levels, like
Right.
personality or makeup's fucking weird as shit, but they made it work,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They were really leaning into the she's the mom trope from the original show. And I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing. But one of the things that occurred to me is I was like, why does she bring the Phantom to go after that pod? The Eye of Sion. Why does she do that? And if you know though later on that Jason Syndulla is in that ship, that's why. She didn't want to bring her kid to the fight. So she just left the kid up in the ship, and it was like basically his space bedroom, and then flew the little sub ship down. There's like little things in there that are like set that make it convenient to make like a reason that like they can do this reveal later on, obviously. But I thought it was like that kind of stuff. I was like, it's kind of well done. Like Filoni thinks about his world when he does his stuff. Like, he
yeah,
thinks
I
like,
just
oh,
think
this is,
he needs to
yeah.
pair up with someone in the writing who is just like a humanist. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That doesn't mean maybe someone from who wrote on The Wire or wrote on, I don't know, someone from Breaking Bad. I don't know. Someone who's just a humorist, a humanist.
Righteous
So
gemstones.
you can
Okay.
get past, the precious gem, you dig.
Come on now.
Little liars. Yeah, that fucking show, right?
Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars,
Mhm.
Charmed
Um,
reboot.
this fall, you can
Sabrina
watch Penny
2.
on her new show called Petty Little Stinkers. Are you a petty little thinker? No, okay. She's not a petty little thinker. But
So,
yeah,
but look, man, like I'll take this over John Favreau's, eating lollipops and they got cookies jokes, and you know what I mean? Like this is
yeah, him liking memes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, this for like what it is, like I said, I don't think this is perfect at all. But in terms of like what it's going for and what it does hit at moments, this is what the other side of Star Wars should be doing on Disney Plus. I think, I don't think everything should be Andor, as much as I would love to have 5 more shows like Andor. Uh, this needs to this kind of stuff needs to cater to like a different audience, and there's like a lot of appeal in like the fun and the action that happens. But once again, I couldn't get my son to sit through this one. He bounced, and I was like, I'll probably get him to watch it again. Maybe watching a Star Wars show at 6 p.m. is weird for him, but and then like you were saying, I think you bring up a good point. When Thrawn comes in, I think it's going to be fine, but it might not be, because they might not be able to write Thrawn or have him do anything that matters. But since this is mostly like about getting him back, about retrieving him and then bringing him back, I think they kind of have an easy out on that, potentially,
Yeah, but the thing Andor did well with the Imperials, with the ISP, is they felt threatening without acting threatening. They didn't need the torture scene to that. Like just when they're sitting in that boardroom making decisions about things going around the galaxy, you feel the weight of these people are really not good. Like imagine if, like the Soviet Russia was legitimately tactically smart, right? They weren't just
right?
filled with just propaganda,
Yeah.
like, and so one would hope Thrawn, however, and they got an actor who can pull that off, right? He has
Mhm.
in the past on his own. So that's why I'm not too worried about it, because even if he has nothing to do, that actor, if he can get through the makeup, right, and
Yeah.
just personify, then it should be. He did the voice before, so I don't think this is like it'd be more worried like when they cast someone as the Inquisitor who's never seen it or cared for it and then shows up and does his own thing, and then you're like, well, now we're just way off an inconsistent land. Like
Yeah.
may as well just been a new character. I don't know why, so
Yeah.
you know
Shogun Orta, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, you're saying the dialogue was a little robotic, Rob?
the
Or
dialogue,
Shogun?
no, it's not robotic, it's stoic.
Yeah.
It's not different. I'm just saying there's a lot of like I say, like there's interesting things they're saying, but they're doing it in that I just fundamentally disagree with Lucas's take on the Jedi writing, where they all sort of look at the camera, glance at it, and
Yeah.
say something. Like I don't like that. Isn't Alec Guinness's performance,
Well, no, and
in A
they
New Hope,
already
or
they
Yoda's
already
performance?
they already did
Like,
that, though. Is the other thing,
right.
is they already went with that, and then they make a character who is a Jedi rebel. Basically, she quits the Jedi Order and goes her own way, and then proceeds just to be them,
To be them, that's
exactly
the
like them.
weirdness.
That's
Yeah,
that's
she's
the weird
acting just
choice,
like,
just
and I'm
like
like, I
them.
thought she wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
So
I mean, she
to
might be
me,
John. She should be dating John Stamos, and Ross like, what? Yeah, yeah, she's a Jedi.
Balon's
You can do that.
acting like a normal human when he goes, I really would rather not have to kill her. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
just it's just the truth. But
Yeah.
I will. Like that. That to me is just more of a human thing. So that's it's not
Yeah.
as bad as the prequel. It's not no, 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 no. It's not that
Mhm.
kind of fucking shit where I just I'm out. I'm gonna go get a popcorn, be back.
Mhm. Well, that
So
was funny if you got if you were out then, because it was like the end of the movie.
they didn't
Shogun
miss
says,
nothing.
feeling threatening without showing it is exactly how the Imperials were first shown in A New Hope. It was all in their voices and composure. Yeah, they were pretty pompous. You kind of wanted to punch them in the throat, like Mahdi. You kind of wanted to punch him in the throat.
Well,
Um,
that's what Vader does. He basically
but
punches one in the throat.
what I did, yeah,
Essentially.
what I did like about this iteration of the Imperials are still in the Republic, telling was that like you have like those workers and they're just like new boss, same as the old boss. They just kept doing what they were doing. And then that moment where they're like, there's more Imperial people in the Republic than you think. Like we didn't just become a Republic overnight, you know. And like when he says that, you're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Like it's something you never think about. If Thrawn shows back up at Coruscant with the fleet, there's people that are probably going to start like sabotaging the Republic right then. That are going to start shooting
but
their
like
Imperial
in a game,
or their Republic captains and stuff like that because they're all about that. Like that's one of the things that hasn't been explored that much and we hadn't considered that much. And that's what I think this is going. I like it better than we got in Mando 3. That's my point.
yeah, it's better than the Mando 3, but I still, the way I think about like probably the best version of it, and look, this is unfair because how many people are JRR? Are not many, right?
Pretty
But
much me
a
and JR.
conversation like that in the first book of Game of Thrones would have been had between the two kings, right? The king and the Stark and Ned Stark and the big fat king, right? It's two guys on the road who've
Baratheon,
seen
is that
it
his name?
all.
Robert Baratheon?
Yeah, Baratheon. It's two guys who've seen everything. They saw the last big war, and they're in a more personal setting having it. They're not literally in the shipyard where it's all about to happen. And you know what I mean? Like there would be a little bit more setup, and then at the end of the episode, or maybe the next episode, at the end of the season, like that would play out in a way that, you know, it's just it all happens in one thing, which is one could say that's a very Lucas Star Wars thing to do, but
yeah, that's
when you
what
have six
Filoni's going for.
episodes, when you have
Yeah.
the 6 episodes, you know, like that's the problem with bringing the movie thing. Stretching a movie out into a series is not the best way to create TV. It's not,
Right.
you know, like
And the
that's
way that
where you can.
Filoni experienced Lucas doing that was in the Clone Wars, and I don't think they ever went past 4 episodes of a story.
Right. Or
For what it's
25
worth.
minutes at a time, you
But
know,
yeah,
like
22 minutes at a time, 4 episodes. That's
so
as
it's a
long as he would
different
ever do it.
structuring,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, big time. And that's that's where like in these shows where you're like watching, you know, 4.5 hours of it, that's when it starts to become a little bit like, yeah, you know, the show's going to have to hit some different pacing. And
You got
that
to stop
next
putting
episode,
Moncals in helmets too, Jason.
I know. I at first, well, okay. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know, but like Home One is Akbar's ship. Are you aware of this?
It looked like it. Just put
Okay,
it that way. So I don't need to see. I could look right at it and go, "That's the bridge from Return of the Jedi."
Yeah. Home
yeah,
One
clearly.
is, and by the way, I'm
Sure.
going to call him out. Bespin Bulletin had that Home One was coming in a show, and he's like, I don't know if it's Rebel. I'm sorry, if it's Skeleton Crew or if it's Ahsoka. I'm just like, just put it out. He's like, yeah, I wrote it up. I'm like, cool, put it out. He's like, yeah, I don't know if it's that. I'm just like, and he's like, I want to get another, you know, but I'm all, but you know it's in there. Like, you know it is. He's like, yeah. And I was like, I watched this episode and I was like, Bespin, we had a slow news day. You could have made our day a little bit brighter. And he wouldn't stay up and be on the show tonight. So fuck that guy. I'm just kidding.
You know what it is,
I love
Jason?
him.
None of you guys really thought we'd go this long without a movie in production, right? So
Oh
he's not
yeah.
seeing the real
Oh no.
benefit, you know, like
Oh yeah.
to
No. If
doing
you told me
Star
in
Wars news.
2019 there wasn't gonna be a movie until like not even now, I'd be like, well, I'll see you guys later. I quit.
Yeah,
Bye.
to do Star Wars scoops with no movies is just I mean, there's got to be a financial reward. There is no, you know, like yeah, the TV stuff isn't exactly the same, right? Like
No, the TV stuff has never been the same as the films. Like in terms of like the intensity, the engagement, and stuff like that. It's nowhere near. Like to put it into like context, it was barely. I was like on the Mando set, like with the best pictures. They didn't have any of it closed up, and the amount of like traction it got was so small compared to Episode 9. I was like, I don't even know if this is worth doing. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's worth my time. But I was into it, so I kept doing it, and that never really changed with the TV stuff. It's always been about a quarter of what the films are, you know. But we'll see. We'll see if they if they end this strike someday. I don't know if they ever will. But you know, it was a strong start, not a perfect start. Not like, you know, I
It's
didn't
not
get
a
a buzz.
revolutionizing. It's just good solid.
No,
I told you, if you get
yeah,
on Mando 1, Mando 2, this, and then Andor, we'd all be like, Star Wars TV's the, standard. It's better than the CW, consistently better than Marvel. The problem
mhm,
is there's how many episodes? 12, 16 episodes of this other stuff that
yeah,
that just kind of gummies it all up,
oh yeah, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
big time. Um, yeah, like the acting, not as cringy as it could have been. Not, I'm not in love with it. I wasn't like, you know, oh, that was so good. There was, like I said, there was a little bit of that like crossing the arms kind of shit that just kind of gives me a headache
Yeah.
whenever I deal with it in animation at all, and I don't like it in live action, especially even more. But you know, it was yeah, it was a show, a Star Wars show, and I had a good time with it. Um, and I'm excited for the next episodes. And I honestly think that maybe it's just really hard to get that much exposition on what you're setting up in one of these shows in the beginning and do a map plot. I don't think you should do that. You shouldn't do something that requires all of this explanation and exposition and then do a map plot at the open. And like a map plot thing is like just the guys go from A to Z on the to get the map.
Well, it's a map plot for a universe you have no idea. I don't know where one galaxy is to the next. Really, you don't. You don't know
Mhm.
where any of this stuff really is. Like, I know Coruscant is here, and Tatooine's the farthest planet away. That's that. Everything else is just random space, man. So it's like a
Yeah.
map plot. They did map plot to find the most important thing in Star Wars to fans, Luke Skywalker. So all right,
Not my
but
Luke Skywalker. I'll tell
they didn't
you.
know that at the time. They didn't
I'll
know
tell
that when that
you.
movie came out. But
My Luke
when it's
Skywalker
for
fights for his
Thrawn,
friends and
when
the
it's for
ones he
character
loves.
when it's for
Me.
characters you don't know about or you've already seen in a cartoon, then you're like, I feel like we're just taking our time getting to like Thrawn should just appear and fuck everything up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like get on with it. Like it's
Yeah.
just long. It's like maybe the show could have instead of Master and Apprentice could have been called Epilogue or not Epilogue. What's that thing that takes place before?
Prologue?
Premise or not a prologue,
Premise?
prologue, Star Wars prologues.
Star Wars
Because it's like,
Prologue.
oh, is it going to be 6 episodes to getting everything going, which is fine, but like, look, man, that works better in a series where you have 12, 24 episodes. You got
Yeah.
3 seasons. It's just like I told you, man. It's like stretching movie ideas out 6 episodes, and it's a
Mhm.
consistent problem, not just in much of Disney Star Wars, but Disney Marvel as well. So
Yeah.
whatever. But I ignore all of that. Given was I annoyed, and I gotta tell you, man, when I watch Clone Wars or Rebels, I get annoyed. So I wasn't
Mhm.
as annoyed. There were some parts I'm like, gonna do the same 6 moves there, Rosario. Like you got
Mhm.
6 moves. I see you've studied the animation, but maybe do something normal,
Mhm. Yeah.
But other than that, like I can't go. This was annoyingly stupid. Like it's ridiculous. So I'd say
Yeah.
3.5 out of 5.
Number
Right?
5?
With moments of
That's
4. Got good
yeah.
moments of 4,
Moments of
right?
4.
Good
Moments of
moments of
4.
4. No,
Yeah.
no, no twos. No cringy twos for me, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
picky. So
Yeah. I would give the opening like together like a 3.5 out of 5.
yeah.
I was yeah, it was like like I said, there's moments where I started to go like, oh fuck, and then I was like, oh okay, it's back to like lagging behind. It would kind of go back and forth on that. But the next episodes might make it better. You know what I mean? The next episodes might pick up a
This,
lot, and then it might be something where I actually
but the
enjoy
score and
all of that
sound
stuff.
design helps sell a lot of
Fantastic,
stuff, man.
fantastic stuff.
Like
Yeah.
that's where I've been like,
Hmm.
I don't want everything to sound like John Williams, but when you're in action figure land, doesn't hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
John Williams hasn't been sounding like John
uh,
Williams much these days.
were
So
you on the show yet when I talked about how that cat died? The cat's dead, right?
No, he's not dead.
She just closed the door on the cat and left fucking town.
No,
To
cat
become
can
a
open the
Jedi.
door. Cat knows how to
You
open
think
the
so?
door. You never owned a cat? Cats can open doors, bro. They love to run and pounce on the button, and that cat knows how to get in and out.
I think that cat's dead, dude.
No, because the door was open and then the door was closed and the cat was already in there, which means the cat knows how to get in and get out.
I think it's dead. But
I don't
anyways,
think he's
no,
a
yeah.
dead
Well,
cat.
next week we'll of course cover the next episode. I'm gonna be doing something tomorrow for the old birthday, and so we'll get back to shows and the news in like 2 days, I think.
The cat
But
is peeing on everything, though. Let's be honest.
the cat is. Oh yeah, Sabine
that place is
smells like cat piss. She smells like
when
cat
she walks
piss.
in there. Next time Sabine walks in there, she's going, "Oh fucking bloody
Oh
fucking
yeah.
hell!"
No, and then the weirdest thing is lost cat pee makes you hallucinate like blonde Ukrainians with lightsabers coming at you. Like that didn't even happen. That was in her head.
You just see size noodles, right? It comes to like size noodles, like hallucination moments, right? All fully animated in 2D too. You know, they all look like the holiday special animation. Those hallucinations. Yeah.
But well,
for my wife hasn't seen it. I haven't talked to her about it. She doesn't know anything about the stuff. I'll probably wait until it's complete for her. I don't think she's gonna want to hang a week on one of these episodes. You know.
Yeah, like you know, there's moments in the show that are like very inside. Like Sabine being a Padawan is a revelation. And if you
to the average person like me, you're like, all right,
it's not. You're just like, okay,
really, okay.
You're all, that bitch got fired, huh? Like that's what you would just think. Like if you're just watching the show.
Yeah. Which is why I said that the show would be called Master and Apprentice. It just would have made better thematic sense.
Just the shows actually having real titles instead of just there's that one character in it, you know. Star Wars Chewbacca. Nobody wants that. You know, give it a good, you know, the fucking of the Wookiees, something like that. Make it sexy. You know what I mean? But don't just call it Star Wars Chewbacca. Like,
witches get harder. Stitches, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And but Bespin texted me and he said Morgan Elsbeth is some Power Rangers level acting. That's like, yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say
Power
that?
Rangers the movie, the Power Rangers the 2017-18 movie, yes. Old Power Rangers, no. Look, man, no one's meaner.
You're going down a path I can't follow, Anakin. Sorry, what?
No one's meaner on Power Rangers than me. Like, trust me on this. And I gotta draw these. I just have to finish this stupid Power Rangers commission. I dragged it out 2 years. I don't want to do it. You know, he doesn't want the money back. He just wants me to. So I'm like, fuck, it's a nice guy. I gotta finish it.
Just do the work.
Yeah, everyone loves the Power Rangers, but me. So no, it isn't. It's just that. What do I say? Like, you don't really. Other than she needs to get somewhere to get to somebody. That's not a compelling. Like Tarkin, you know, at least is running the Death Star, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he knows he's got Vader, and you could tell Vader's a bit of a psychopath, you know, and it's like on a short leash, and time is a little bit of the essence here. With
imagine you were married to Natalie Portman and you got your dick burned off. You would become one too.
You know, Morgan Elsbeth, she's like, okay, she's a witch, she's got some power, she's looking for something, but there really doesn't, other than they're in a hurry, there's no real hurry, you know, there's no, and it's like,
Thrawn's
how did you get a map to a guy? Yeah, how did you get a map to a guy anyway? Like man, I try never to make sense of these. They write these treasure hunts in very weird ways that I just try to never make sense out of. Just you're better not. Like
at the risk of plagiarizing Bespin, I'm just going to cite him on this. He was messaging me and he's like, "That's a map to Thrawn, but it's in an ancient witch temple. Why?" And then
I know I already did that during the show. Yeah.
Did she hide it there? Yeah. Like what the fuck is this? Does this ever make any sense? And my opinion is no, it'll just never make sense.
Whatever fleet they're getting should be an ancient fleet. So it was the map to the ancient fleet, and she knows Thrawn would be there. How would you know? Because he'll find it. Well, how do you know he'll find it? Because he would find it. He would have found it by now. He's there. And we just got, you know, we have to bring him like it's just like there's a way to do it. you know, that goes beyond things are happening because they just have to happen. You can make it more character centric if you know, sit in a room
Right.
with some smart people and do that. But hey, look, man, we've just had to sit through some real cringe-inducing fucking Star Wars the last couple years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from Andor, which God love it, you know, it's my favorite. But after that fucking Mando season 3, you should all people should really give it a bit more of a pass because you know, like this is
Yeah.
quite better in many ways, you know.
Yeah. 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 Like I'm excited for the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? This doesn't feel arduous to watch. You know, it's like the end of Mando. I think we were kind of like, well, is Mando season gonna end here? Come on, Mando season. I think we're kind of done with you. And this one I think will
I mean,
probably
it,
move pretty quick and
if Thrawn
be
has a
intriguing.
big red button, then you're gonna hear it from me. Like, you know,
See,
I'll put my
I
hand right
like
over it.
no, it's like I'm okay with that. It was just that with that. Like they just did too
Right.
much of that kind of like
Right.
thing, and you're just like, you're not winning and you're bored here. You're just not taking this seriously anymore. You just gave up. But yeah, I mean the you know, this more stoic tone, the going for the martial arts movie kind of vibe at times, I think is kind of fun. It's kind of good. The martial arts moment in it with Sabine wasn't like amazing, but it could have been really, really bad, and it wasn't. And I was really happy
Right.
about
Look,
that.
to be fair, these people. I was talking to my buddy about this
Mm-hmm.
today before we talked, Jason, and I was telling him like, look, these actors they need a year to train, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for any given movie. And for a series, I don't they get maybe 3 months. You know, if they're
Yeah.
doing their own stunts, they need a minimum of a year, not to get just in physical shape, but for coordination, believability, learning how to act through
Mm-hmm.
rote memorization, which is why, you know, in Asia, they're not casting actors who learn stunts, they're casting stunt people who then act. You
Yeah.
know, because the stunts are really the bigger issue. They got to do that take 100 times to
The
get it right.
Sabine actor has like a martial arts background. So it's not like, so it's completely possible that it like that could have even been better. And I'm hoping that as it goes on and we get more into the sword stuff, it just does get better. You know what I
But
mean?
again,
Like,
it doesn't feel inconsistent with the fights in A New Hope or Empire,
okay,
you
yeah,
know, or
yeah,
Jedi
that's fair.
even, you know, to be perfectly honest with you. They're
Hmm.
at the same scale as the OT. So I can't complain. Is it John Wick or nobody's gotten to the raid. Let's just be honest. The raid is the
Hmm.
pinnacle. Like there's none better than the raid 1 and 2. Like there are shots in the raid 2 I still don't know how they did. Like, and
Yeah.
I watched them with the 5. I'm like, how did you do that? So I will. What's this say? I think you would have really benefited if you've seen Rebels. So for Rob to like this, I haven't seen his victory himself. There's a hope, Rob. Cheers, are you having cake? Are you having cake, Jason? You having cake
No,
tonight?
no
And you
cake
guys still
tonight.
are you on a diet still, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
you
having
can't be
any
eating
cake.
cake. Can't be eating
Can't
cake.
be any cake.
I've been doing better. I mean, not better. I mean, I'm you know, I'm
Your
getting
force ghost.
down to my
You're not. You're dead. You're not
oh,
getting
you
any
haven't
older. Not
seen,
getting
but
any younger.
I can assure you it's all working, you know.
Good. Good.
I'm not fat, but I'm not thin. I'm normal.
Yeah. You're just
I
big
would say
boned.
normal.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
a
kidding.
couple more years will be where I want to be, dude. But we're all at that age, Jason, where if we put on any more weight, we could die. You know, like so we gotta, you know. I think about it all the time, like you know. So
No,
yeah,
trust me,
yeah.
we're gonna live to be really old, shitting and pissing ourselves, and like really, really sad.
Not me.
Unfortunately.
I'm going in the shower. I've feared it since day one. You know, I fear that shower. It's a
You
killer.
better get one of those showers with like a little seat in it, like that the old people have.
Yeah, I'm too big. I'm a large dude. I got all
Big
leg.
seat.
Like
All right, get the fucking Game of Thrones fucking thing in there then. But all right, well, I think we did it, Rob. I'm gonna watch it again, and we'll definitely like revisit it. I mean, it's always I get a little overwhelmed with the Star Wars because I like it so much. I take it all in, but yeah, I'm like a little bit like there's a little bit of Star Wars magic that works on me, and then also a little bit, like I said, like I was in school for like 4 hours before I went to this, and I was just like, so I might watch it
well, I
tomorrow
could tell
morning and
you
like it even
eh,
more. Yeah.
Yeah, if I was like, Rob, gotta watch it again, I wouldn't be groaning.
Yeah.
I get a beer, sit down and watch.
No,
So it's not.
that's a
There
pretty
you
big
go.
win because everything about this show says you should hate it.
I should. I was making
Yeah.
fun of it before the show started with the bunny. I'm like, here we go. I gotta go
Yeah.
fucking put on a face for these people. At least for 2 episodes, Jason. Maybe I have the
Mhm.
whole time. Maybe this is my face.
Oh, is
I'm
this a
just
big
lying.
con? This is
You
a
know
big
what the
trick.
problem with cons are? I can't
Mhm.
remember. I'm not good with names. I was thinking the other day that Piper Perabo looks like some other actress I get confused with, and I was like, was that the other actress? Was that Piper Perabo? I can never remember.
Mm.
Not good with it. I'm not
I
good
just
with it.
follow the work of Piper Perry. Maria says, Jason Rob, what do you think of the Rebel Moon trailer? Best
I
been
haven't
sent
watched
it
it.
to me, but I haven't got to watch it yet.
Haven't
And have
watched
you
it.
seen it, Rob?
No.
No, okay. Yeah,
Haven't
I
watched it.
definitely we will dig into it though, because it was almost a Star Wars movie. I want to watch it and talk about it on a slow news day about like what was this? You know what I mean? Did we miss out?
We
Or
need full
you know,
screens and stuff for that, Jason. You know what I
little
mean?
screens like little Apple watches like this little guy. Let's put it on
I gotta
there.
show you to drop a video into a free program and it'll just pull screens out for you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you can just
Yeah.
yeah.
Sharkan, thank you for the super chat. Says you're not fat, not thin. You're Finn, Rob.
No, I look
Hey,
look,
I'll
here's
be
the
here
thing
on that.
though. I know what you're saying. But like look, when I'm thin, people think I have cancer. So I have this weird thing where I go from being normal. When I'm fat, people don't generally think I'm fat. When I'm normal, I'm not, but it's just what you want to be. What I want to be, I'm not there. So
Yeah.
people,
Oh,
my wife actually doesn't want me getting much thinner, but I'm like, no, it's going to happen, so.
this morning I was like making the featured image for the show, and I was
Mhm.
gonna do like a pre-show thing and just see if you were free and like we could hang out. And I'm like sitting here, and then I look at it and I realize it's like my birthday's tomorrow. Tonight. Now we're there now, pretty much on the East Coast, and
44,
and I
44,
realized
43.
my ID expires.
Oh,
So I had to go to the DMV today. So I sat there for like 2 hours. It was a good time.
did they weigh you like they're gonna weigh Trump? You see, there's odds going
No.
on right now at Trump. They're
Yeah.
I guess his way.
Yeah. But here's what I would love, okay?
I love
Wouldn't
it.
it be funny if he really was 6'2", 230 pounds?
That's what I'm saying. What if he is? And you're just like, that is the genius. Like we get
The
to
only
laugh
thing that
whether
was
he's
ever true was the guy's
look,
weight and height.
we live in a
Um,
sensitive time. This is the one time we can all collectively laugh at a fat person, right?
yeah.
Or if he's really what he said he was, we get to still go, damn,
That's fucking hilarious. Damn, dude, you look like shit.
That's great too. So
Yeah.
either way, it's gonna be a fun week, Jason. Either
It's
way.
gonna be a great week. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. It's 10 o'clock here now. It's even later where Rob's at. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats today. Super appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you to everybody for
I'll
being
say
a
this right
channel
before we go.
member. Oh
I'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
one minute, 1 minute. I think if I were writing this in a almost right,
Wendy's.
let's say Vince Gilligan style of
Oh, okay.
way, they
Mhm.
would have got Thrawn at the end of the second episode and just unleash a battle on the third one. Like
Right.
get to the idea, the ending idea in the second, and then move past. It's the Brad Bird, Vince Gilligan does it, McQuarrie does it. Like get to the print and then get past it. Don't drag it out.
Well, if
Like
I was doing it, it would have started with like a lady in birth. You're like, what's going on? It's like a midwife, all the stuff's going on, and then it's Sabine, and she's the one giving birth, and the baby's blue, and we find out Thrawn was her secret lover.
man, you're just gonna set Ben Shapiro off, aren't you? Right?
Oh shit!
They're saying they're trying to make illegal alien babies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you everybody for all the support and all that kind of stuff, and I do appreciate it like a lot. And we'll be back this later in the week. We'll talk about the episode again sometime this week.
Randomly, we won't tell you when.
Well, tomorrow I'm going out for my birthday, and then there's always a good chance that I'm just hungover the next day and I don't do a show. That's just being real with you guys. Just being real with you guys today.
Yeah.
And
I'll be in the Santa's chat making weird Republican jokes. Like
that's
Adam,
fair.
I told him today that he doesn't
chances
like
are-
fiat cars.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't like fiat cars, but I said Santa doesn't like fiat cars and fiat currency.
But is it? But
He
without
didn't
the
like it.
fiat, we don't get George Lucas.
Yeah, well, Santa
Right?
doesn't make much sense.
Was that a fiat that he was thrown out of? I think it was.
Yeah.
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 They don't.
Well,
make
he wasn't.
seatbelts
Yeah,
very
the
well.
one he ran into a tree or whatever. The guy hit
Yeah.
him.
I know
Yeah,
George
yeah.
Lucas was like, I crashed into a tree and the seatbelt broke. Like, what? What?
Right.
What are you talking about,
Right.
George? Go to bed, George.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and has a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well. Because his real accent is way different.
Oh, he's got that video.
Yeah, he does. He sounds like Fat Bastard. To Alec Guinness, who's very, very English, and has a very, very English accent. It's very interesting because he actually pulls it off pretty well.
They call me Jason 2-time. Everything I do it 2 times. Sorry. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, that day. All right. Bye, everybody. See you later, Rob. Bye, Penny.
Later, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.